Okay, buongiorno everybody, and hello, happy Wednesday. Today, Wednesday, it is Cucina Quarantena Day, and for those of you who are new around here, Cucina Quarantena is a series of cooking lessons that I started at the very beginning of the pandemic when travel stopped and I didn't know what to do with all of my social media stuff. So I thought I'm going to teach everybody to cook the way I learned to cook in Italy when I was a student. And that led to, I think we have something banked of 68 episodes now, maybe more, which are all being uploaded to YouTube. So if you're interested in going back and reviewing some of these really ham-fisted, poorly photographed cooking lessons, you can go back to the beginning. We're getting better. We're getting more professional with our Cucina Quarantena. I think I'm just going to keep the name because I think it's funny, the quarantine kitchen. And of course, part of Cucina Quarantena is cooking with friends. So today, actually, I'm not going to be doing the cooking. I'm going to be drinking a cup of coffee and enjoying somebody else doing the cooking. And our guests today are Jesse Blackwood and his Italian wife, Maria. Buongiorno, buongiorno. And today what we're going to be doing is Jesse, his specialty is Greece. And so he and Maria are going to be showing us how to cook some Greek specialties. So Jesse, tell us a little bit about what you're going to make today.
All right. Well, kalimera, everyone. Kalispera, good morning, good evening. We are going to flip the camera around here this morning. We won't call ourselves specialists in Greek cuisine by any stretch of the imagination. We're novices, so by all rights, we shouldn't be offering this cooking lesson. However,
no. See, no, this is not the spirit of Cucina Quarantena. The spirit of Cucina Quarantena. I'm not a chef. I learned how to cook.
Well, that's what I was going to say
in college.
No, that's what I was going to say. Is that I think that Sarah and I we agree that the cooking it's like language that whether 2 words or 20 words or you can translate the dictionary in a way it's always an expression and a connection between yourself and the places you like to visit. So these are a couple of simple recipes that we brought back with us, and as a matter of fact, actually I'm going to show you this recipe, a couple of these recipe cards, but these are recipes that we brought back with us from Greece, and they're written on cards that were given to us by a dear friend of ours on the day that we got married. So the first one here, I don't know if you can see that, is tzatziki, and everybody knows that it's that beautiful Greek yogurt and cucumber dip.
Vinegar.
And then here we have a spicy cheese dip, which is also lovely. These are all dishes that you can make just in a couple of minutes. You have friends coming over and you don't have a lot of extra time, and then you just whip these together. Then we have this spinach pie, or Spanako Pita, which everyone knows. And we didn't make pita, but I was already in the process of making a little sourdough. So we have a little sourdough bread here that we may toast up and use in lieu of pita a little bit later. So here we have the beautiful Maria, and we're going to start with
We will start with Spanako Pita because maybe in the meantime, depend how long will be our conversation. Maybe we can cook it because we will need 40-50 minutes to be cooked. So what we need here is the filo pasta. I'm sorry for my English, it's not that good, but Jesse will help me. So we need the filo pasta, spinach, of course, feta, eggs, some flour, olive oil, and here I have some olive oil with a little bit of water, just to, come si dice, per mettere
to brush on top of the filo.
Yeah, and salt and pepper. And we will use
a pan
like this. And, okay, let's start with the spinach.
So this spinach is cooked already. You can boil it and then drop it into a colander to get rid of some of the excess water.
here we have like 1 kilo of spinach around, and I am not that good following the recipes, so because usually I would do like, I mean, based on my taste. So 1 kilo of spinach. Here we are using 4 eggs, 400 grams of feta, 3 tablespoons of flour, and it's 3/4 of a cup of oil, olive oil. 3/4. Do I have
3/4? Yeah, 3/4 of a cup of olive oil.
Yeah. So what we do here is mix all together. Flour. It's also my first time here in a live cooking.
Yeah, this is a series of firsts for Maria. First time giving a cooking lesson. First time on a live Facebook.
I just wanted to also jump in and say, for those of you watching, that Jesse and Maria are newlyweds. They just got married in Greece. What was it, a year ago? Not even
Actually,
a few months ago.
Actually, yeah, less. We got married on September 16th, and as I was saying, actually, it was very serendipitous. Greece, both because Greece is a place that we love, and we would love to spend more time there, but also because it was the place that welcomed us. And I was just thinking, as Maria was as whipping this together, that was kind of the character also of our wedding day, which, you know, most people, you think of a wedding in Greece, you're probably thinking Santorini Island and something that's kind of really classed up. It's on the Aegean, or it's well planned. Well, ours was really spur of the moment. There was nowhere else that we knew of in the world really that we could get married, that would welcome us and allow us to get married. And so we showed up, and Risa, who gave us these cards that I showed earlier in this little on this video, ended up being actually Maria's witness. I was thinking of the Italian word there,
Yeah.
the testimonia.
And you got married in shorts. I know that.
Yeah.
Which,
I got married in shorts. And Konstantinos, Risa's son, was my witness. And we ended up going. And initially, we thought, oh well, we'll after we go to the city hall, we'll celebrate. We'll go to a restaurant, something very simple. And Greece is not very expensive. But instead, we said, well, what we're going to do is order some food from the restaurant, and then we'll make some things and bring them to. We went to this abandoned.
Just I interrupt you for a
yeah,
second.
I think we need to cut that story short and get back to our cooking.
Yeah.
So I finished mixing here the ripieno.
The filling.
The filling. So now I will start
brushing
the filo pasta with the oil and water. So we have to do this for both sides. And have you ever tried this pasta, this Spanako Pita?
Yeah, I have. Actually, I'm lazy. I buy it at Trader Joe's.
I really like it. So actually, I am coming from Moldova, and in there we use very much feta cheese. And another reason that I like very much Greece is that it's kind of between Moldova and Italy, the two countries where I lived in. And this is something that remember me both countries, and I love this Spanako Pita. It is just easy to make it if you have the filo pasta. Okay, so we brush the filo pasta. We add some spinach and feta. And after this, we will use another layer.
Another layer.
Another layer. Thank you, JC. Doing the same. So yeah, sorry for interrupt you. Just
no, this is why we're here. The only point I was going to make is that when we arrived at this abandoned church, then Risa in their white van they brought out a table and all these things and began preparing the tzatziki and Greek salad right there. So they're things that are easy to make.
Yeah.
So add another layer here of filo pastry.
Mm. Again, oil and water. So I think if you are doing a diet, this is maybe not the best recipe. Okay. Again, we will add some filling.
Mm-hmm.
Filling. Jesse, do you remember when we first tried this Spanako Pita? Because actually, maybe it was when our first time in Greece, maybe when we were at Meteora. Do you remember those places outside of Meteora? We were searching for some food. Was there?
What I don't remember where we tried the first one.
I have this imagine in my mind because I really remember that one because it was so good. Yeah, I think that one was our first time discovering it.
But then we've had many times driving on the road back and forth between the southern Peloponnese and in Athens as we were trying to get various documents together, stopping at what would be the Italian autogrill or the road gas stations with restaurants. And instead of finding, as you would hear in our country, Nathan's Hot Dogs or Burger King, they'll have usually fresh made Spanako Pita and other kind of sweet or salty pies. But I was thinking, Sarah, and it might be interesting to ask everybody that Spanako Pita really, it's a kind of a Greek version of a sandwich.
Or panini.
Yeah, panini in Italy. And I was trying to think of how many different versions, of the kind of sandwich, the lunch, the portable lunch that you can bring with you when you go to work. We and our listeners might be able to come up with in however many different countries, because really every country in the world has their version of this.
Yeah, I was thinking about that because since this is basically like takeaway food, I know that in Slovenia and parts of the Balkans, they have a thing called borek, which is similar to this, but it's just cheese. It's like filo dough with cheese. And it's so good. It's like cheesy pizza. I can think of Cornish pasties with the, thick crust that was supposed to keep the tin miners from, poisoning themselves. Crepes in France. What else? Well,
Empanadas.
Empanadas, exactly. Yeah. In Sicily, there's all kinds of street food. There's the arancini, which are like the rice balls. Yeah, we could go on. That we could actually make a really fun list of these sorts of things. But I really think that the simple street food type of sandwich, fast food stuff, this is the stuff that really delights me more than sitting down at a fancy restaurant. Honestly, I would rather find a little hole in the wall making homemade Spanako Pita than I would to sit at a fancy restaurant in Athens, personally.
Yeah, as what I actually remember, I couldn't remember the Spanako Pita that Maria was talking about, though I do remember that we had a kind of a salty pie or a salty pastry like that at Meteora after we had been walking all around these. That was the one. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, yes, I just forgot earlier, but I was so hungry you know, and often I think that's often the way as well, Sarah, that you are, you know, walking through the streets and then you stumble on something. It's like camp food, how camp food always tastes better than something that you're preparing at home. And that was very much my experience as well.
Yeah, when you've had a long day.
Especially in some countries, you know.
All right, so it looks like you're basically done. Now, filo, just for those of you watching, if you've never worked with it, I know this looks a little intimidating, but it actually is super easy. You just buy it in the frozen section, you let it thaw on your counter, and then just really gently open it up. And they're just incredibly thin layers. But if you brush each sheet with oil or butter and then you stack them, then you get that really crisp, sort of nice texture. Yeah. And I know that obviously you're thinking, oh, she knows what she's doing. She's a talented cook. My kids, when they were little, were able to do this. So I think if my kids can work with filo, I know it's intimidating, but you can do it too.
Yeah, it is very easy. So we have to cook it at 350, 100 Fahrenheit for about 40 or maybe 50 minutes. We'll see. Okay, so in the meantime, I say we will start doing the tzatziki, especially maybe first we will grate the cucumber because we have to wait for a bit to drain the water, right? So we wash the cucumber, is what Mr. Jesse did before. And we grate it. This sauce is one that I can eat almost with everything, especially with sweet potatoes also here in the United States, because in Europe I haven't used to eat many sweet potatoes, and I discovered them mostly here and in China.
So this tzatziki is one of many like dips you can find in Greece. So there's tzatziki, right? And you can also obviously find like hummus and things like that. But tzatziki is used in a bunch of different ways, right? You could dip pita in it, carrots. Yeah.
Anything, and also it has almost no calories. So
I like the way you think.
No, I mean, it is not heavy because usually when you say sauce or a dip, people will think, you know, mostly us that is something heavy, you know. But this one you can eat almost with everything, and it is not heavy. Yeah.
Yeah, I think if you use non-fat Greek yogurt, then it will be high in protein, and of course cucumber doesn't have much in it, and that's fundamentally those are the only calories that you're looking at. And as you say, Sarah, you can also, one of the things we thought about making here today, we may not get to it, excuse me, was souvlaki, like skewers, or what we would call kebab, and because when you have that, or you have a Greek salad made already, then you could just throw that inside your pita and drop a little bit of tzatziki on top of it, and you have a beautiful, I guess, another sandwich, right? Some more street food, which is absolutely one of my favorites while traveling through Greece.
Yeah, Jesse, when we are in Greece, you will start almost everywhere to have some of this.
And I love the sauces too that you were, or the dips that you were saying earlier, Sarah. Not just the tzatziki, but there's also one. It looks like we're not making it here today, but it looks a little bit like mashed potatoes. Actually, that's what I thought it was when it first came out. But it's a giant bean dip, and I'm not sure if giant beans, if they mean by that pinto beans, or it's just a Greek variation. I've never gotten to the bottom of that mystery, but
it could be fava. They make that in Egypt as well. Yeah, they make like a dip out of fava beans, so that's could be what it is. But what I love about Mediterranean cultures, especially Eastern Mediterranean cultures, is this snacky culture. You know, the tapas or meze or whatever you want to call it, where they just put out like at the beginning, and this stretches all the way to the Levant, to the Middle East. The first course is usually a dozen different little tiny dips and, you know, crudités and all kinds of things, and you can just sort of nibble. And for me, when the actual main dish arrives, I'm always a little like ho hum. Like, okay, souvlaki is good, but personally, I'd rather have all the little dips and the fresh pita and all of that.
Yeah, I'm very much the same way. I love trying, and also it's very collective when you have dips to share around. So now we'll let this sit for a little while.
Yeah, so what I've learned is, especially if we add some salt on these cucumbers, will be faster to drain the water. So. Okay. So talking of dips, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, here next we will do another one, which is with feta. This is with feta. With these ones are some spicy chili.
Yeah.
Right. That we bought them fresh, and we baked them. We peeled them and took off the seeds. And this is like half of red pepper, which we like, I mean, to give a little bit of sweet taste. Yeah. So, and then we have some paprika, olive oil. This olive oil, actually, it is from Greece, and some water, and a little bit of lemon. Okay. So what we do here is to cut some spicy pepper. I will use just a little bit because these ones are very spicy, but you know, anyone, they can do just what they like.
I imagine if you don't like spicy, you could also use roasted red peppers too, I assume, right?
Yeah, exactly. So that's what we have a combination of here, because my spice palate and tolerance is not you know what many people's is. So we have a combination of red habaneros, which is what Maria's cutting up here, and then the rest of that is just a roasted bell pepper. And as Maria was saying, to roast that is the very simplest thing. You just throw it into the oven at around 450, and about 15 minutes later, the skin will usually just peel right off.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I find a good deal on peppers, like red peppers or poblanos or something, I'll take them and throw them on the barbecue and just singe them. And then you can run them under water and peel the skin off and then put them in oil. I'll do a segment on that eventually. It's such a wonderful thing just to have in your fridge, like really nice roasted pepper strips. You can even use green peppers or green chilies for this, like Mexican green chilies. You could have a Greek Mexican twist. So Jesse, I have a question for you. I don't know the story of how you two met. Tell me.
Well, we met in a restaurant in Rome where Maria was working as the manager, and I was bringing a group. And actually, it was at Cecilia's recommendation at Oregano Roma, and
Oregano. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, at Oregano.
Yeah.
And so I called up, knowing only a little bit of Italian, but as you know, kind of diving in there, and booked a reservation. And Maria said that she liked my way of speaking, or kind of my voice, as we were talking over the telephone.
Yeah.
but then when I went there, I was on a 3-week Best of Europe trip, and it comes right at the 2-week mark when everybody's really tired. And as you know, Rome can be a bit of a grueling experience. And so when actually I went into the restaurant with my group, Maria and I guess my eyes were really a bit bloodshot, which is probably, sleep deprived. And she thought, well, he doesn't look like his voice sounded.
I thought he was going to be hot. He just looks tired.
Yeah, well, she thought he must. I wonder if he used his drugs. Anyway, that. But I was still kind of encouraged. I thought, well, I'll ask Maria if she wants to come out for an aperitivo, and I did that. That's what I thought I asked in Italian, but she didn't actually understand me. But then on the next on my next trip through, I was going with Elena, another of our mutual friends, Elena Zamperon, and she helped me send a couple of messages, and we decided we would go. Originally, we thought we would go for a picnic in the Borghese Gardens, and this was.
Elena helped you to send the messages.
Oh yeah, Elena helped me to send the messages. I guess I never told that before.
Say what?
Because Elena.
She sent the messages.
She helped. We were on the bus together, and she was helping me craft my my message technique. And anyway, when we got to Rome, actually, there was an opera playing, and we were staying up by Termini near the opera house, and so we changed the plans and bought some opera tickets either the day of, or maybe it was the day before, opera tickets. And so our first date was a visit to the opera in Rome.
Classy.
I should.
Jesse's bringing the class to the date. Like it.
Turn things around here, because as we've been talking, Maria has been continuing, and you see she cut up these peppers.
So red pepper, chili pepper, paprika, olive oil, a little bit of water, and just a few drops of lemon. This is optional, but we like it. I add also some black pepper. And that's it. This is very easy and very fast. The only thing is, they say it is better to keep it in the fridge minimum for 30 minutes to have a better taste. And that's it. You have it.
So that's a kind of a 5-minute dip there, and then we'll come back here, finish the tzatziki.
Yeah, we can finish tzatziki, or we can start with the meat.
Let's see. We could see how the still need a little bit of time there.
So here with tzatziki, I think we will wait a few more minutes, and we will go further with the
souvlaki.
Yeah.
So Maria, I have to ask you, the story that Jesse told about how you guys met, what's your version of that story?
Oh. It is. I mean, as he said, he first texted me an email asking for a menu for a group, and I sent him back the menu, and I don't remember, he was maybe talking, you were writing in Italian, maybe in Italian language, and it was something in the menu that he wanted to add, and I did not understand exactly, and I called him, and actually I liked his voice, and after that he came at the restaurant, and he has his face it was a bit different than I was expecting, But yeah, and he was, I thought he was drunk, but maybe not. He was just very tired. And he came at me with a glass of Aperol Spritz, and he was like, he said something in Italian, but I understood I'm going outside for a drink. So, but he was asking me, let's go for a drink maybe one day or something like that. So I thought that night he was telling me that he's going outside at the restaurant because we had the tables outside to have this drink. And I said, yes, you go. So the story was there. So here we have some chicken meat. Usually in Greek, they will use pork meat or chicken souvlaki. You can find them in many versions. Today we are making, come si dice le cosce di pollo, tesoro?
Chicken thighs.
Chicken thighs. So you cut them like, you have to put them on the skewer. So they have to be, I think, let's say 3 centimeters. Yeah. So first we cut the meat. We put it in a bowl with peppers, onion, and a little bit of lemon, thyme, oregano, rosemary, oil, and you can choose after that with some white wine or vinegar. Today we are using white vinegar. And in this case, we have to wait for the meat. You have to marinate minimum for 3 hours, would be better, or even more. So we will just prepare the meat, and will be our dinner for tonight, I think. It is another dish, very, very, very easy. Actually, almost everything it is easy to make in Greece. They do not have very, very difficult recipe.
Maybe it's because they're spending their time dancing and going to the beach, right?
Great, yeah.
Yeah, they don't want to spend a lot of time.
At least for the recipes that we have learned so far, although because I suppose, for example, baklava is supposed to be a fairly complex dessert to put together because it's not. No?
If you make with the pre-made filo dough, I'll have to have Luca make that sometime on camera for everybody. It's really super easy. I was just thinking, Jesse, did you ever see that movie, My Life in Ruins?
I haven't.
Oh my gosh, you haven't seen that movie? Oh, you have to watch that. Like, seriously. It's the girl from My Big Fat Greek Wedding. She made a movie maybe 7, 8, 9 years ago. I can't remember how long ago, about being a tour guide in Greece. And
wow.
It is the funniest movie because whoever wrote that script was definitely a tour guide, because everything in that movie, you're just like, oh my gosh, yeah, I've lived all of that. All of those things have happened. Like, you get all the people she has on the bus, like these stereotypes. Every single one of those has been on my bus before. It's so stinking funny.
We'll definitely look that up.
Well, and one of the scenes, it's hilarious because it's like, when you would get to Rome. So like halfway through the tour, she's exhausted. She gets to this like rundown hotel. She gets everybody up to their rooms. And then when she gets her chance to go to her room, the elevator breaks. So she has to drag her bags up the stairs, and she's complaining the whole time going, Greek people, all they do is sit around and philosophize, and then they dance, and then they go and smoke cigarettes, and then they dance. And no matter what happens, what the problem in this world is, they dance. And I love that scene because I just feel like I have so lived that. When you love the culture that you guide in, you love the people, but every now and then you're just like, I'm so over it.
Yeah, you just happy. You just want to be back kind of home and in a bed, your own bed.
Well, and that's the interesting piece about being bicultural or being in a bicultural relationship is that you see the beauty of both cultures, but you also see the downfalls. So,
Right.
as much as I love Italian culture, I have absolutely no illusions about it. Like I understand the good and the bad. And I'm sure it's same for Greek culture for you, right?
Yeah. Well, and actually it was interesting that you think about that, because I think that was the comment in a way that Maria was making about Greece, how it seems to be that the country that takes from, because she's originally born in Moldova, lived there until she was 13, and then has spent until she was here really the rest of her life in Italy. But Greece kind of takes what she loved about Moldova and what she loves about Italy, and puts them together in that wonderful Mediterranean culture. So it's kind of nice to be able to pick and choose. And of course I have no illusions about the difficulties of working in Greece or Greek bureaucracy or banking or any number of realities, but we won't go into those just at the moment.
Well, that's the thing. It's like countries are like people. You have to love them for what they are. You can't sit around and dwell on all their bad aspects, but they often have their ups and their downs. But everybody should watch this movie I'm talking about, by the way. It is so stinking funny. I mean, maybe people who are not tour guides won't find it as funny as I do, but
My Life in Ruins.
My Life in Ruins, yes.
Yeah,
with that girl from My Big Fat Greek Wedding.
So here,
so we have here the chicken meat, onion, peppers. We use green and black and red, mostly for the color, and we cut them a bit bigger so you can use them on the skewer also. And oregano, thyme, rosemary, vinegar, and some lemon I'm going to use right now, and a little bit of oil, olive oil.
And this is actually, I don't know if you can see that, Sarah, but this is a great trick. Something that I never realized you could do so simply with a lemon to get the juice out of, but just sticking you may know that already. I didn't discover that till Maria, and after years of squishing lemons or waiting for that little machine that we have.
We do it in Italy very fast.
And this is olive oil that actually Maria was saying that we brought back with us. So I know you like to pack light, Sarah. I like the idea of packing light. I just it's a lifelong journey for me. Coming back is always worse. So to give you an idea.
See, wait, Jesse. So I pack light going over, you never want to check your bags ever. And that's the thing that people don't understand about my philosophy is, going over, carry on, take as little as you possibly can, but come home with as many bags as you wish. And for me, that always includes a big bag full of olive oil. I agree.
Yeah, that's so that I try and do that too. I just never managed to trim it down quite. It's a lifelong aspiration for me. But I want to tell you that not this last year, but the year before, when we were coming back from Greece, we'd been there over the fall, and there was a fresh olive harvest, and this was after fairly significant traveling, so we already had a lot of stuff, and I found out that what was it? Something about the bags. So I called up Stephen, who we. You can see the smell here. Oh.
I feel like I am in Greece. I just like souvlaki for the smell. So here everything is ready. We just need to put it in the fridge and to wait. Okay.
So, and we'll not today, not during our remaining few minutes here, but later this afternoon, once that's marinated, we will put that on skewers. But I was just going to say very quickly, Sarah, is that this, which you can kind of see, it's that's at least it's a gallon. I think it's 4 liters, and I brought back 5 of those because I thought, well, here I'm spending 20 euros on one of these, and so I just did the math. I was like, well, if I pay for an extra bag and I bring back 5 of these, it's still going to cost me less. So last year was the year of the of fresh olive oil for my family, and everybody got that for Christmas.
It really pays for itself. You really can't say no.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, see, this is bad, Jesse, because everybody watching this video is going to like come home with 25 bags full of olive oil. But they wouldn't be wrong. I mean, with the way my kids eat olive oil, yeah, it would be a cost savings, actually.
Yeah, and it's it's the highest quality at a price that you could never find even your cheapest olive oil here.
Yeah, exactly.
So here you can see she's really getting the liquids out of the cucumber.
Yeah, because after this, maybe if you put this one in the fridge, the tzatziki, after an hour or something like that, you will see the water coming up. So I don't really love it. So that's why I'm always doing this. So here we have the cucumber, some Greek yogurt. So here I don't really use the measurements, because I like to have a lot of cucumber, and so I just add the yogurt. I mean, just watching, like not using any measurement. So, and what we need is some garlic. I think I will use the small one because Jessie loves garlic, but
have you encountered that as well, Sarah, that your tolerance, your love of garlic is a little bit higher than the standard in Italy?
That's funny you should say that, because as she's crushing that garlic, I was thinking that exact same thing. I think we as Americans eat way more garlic, particularly in our Italian food. Like really, yeah. I can't think of anything other than bruschetta or spaghetti aglio olio that really is garlicky in Italy. Like just there isn't. And it's not even in southern regions. You don't have that. But Americans, man, we love the garlic.
Yeah, Italian people in Italy, we don't use it very much. And yeah, especially when it's raw.
Yeah, and it's funny too, because I think people really believe that Italians put tons of garlic in their food, but it's not. That's American food.
Yeah.
We need to separate out what is Italian food and what is American, quote, Italian food, air quotes,
Yeah, but what I've discovered working in the restaurant in Italy, so we were in the old center of Rome, so we had many people from outside of Italy coming, and they don't really like very much the traditional recipes, because the taste, of course, it is very different, from here. Even when you make the carbonara, it is different from the original recipe, how we made it in Italy. In Italy, it is much more saltier, so usually people, and the pasta is not cooked that much, And people, I remember we had many problems with pasta and especially not Parmesan, but the pecorino, because it is very salty. So yeah, it is actually different.
So when you
cooks like for their taste. So
Roman food also is really particular too, because I think Roman food, I hate to say it, but it's a little bland, I think, compared to what Americans expect. I don't think it's at all what people expect Roman food.
Because in Roman, especially Roman food is coming from a very poor
Cucina povera,
Cucina povera, sì. So they use very much the fat, or come si dice, le interiora, or
internal organs,
the parts that do not cost very much, or maybe before didn't cost very much, And I don't know, maybe for this reason, also, and it is very strong also the taste.
But what I think is really great about Roman dishes that I'm thinking about at least are the simplicity, and you just taste the ingredients. So, you know, like cacio pepe is so simple. It's just cheese and pepper. And a really good amatriciana should just be bacon and tomatoes, basically. And carbonara should really just be cheese, eggs, and bacon. Like, it's so simple.
Yeah, exactly. No onion, no garlic.
No garlic. No. I know. The thing that's terrible is that I actually do add garlic to my amatriciana. I know I shouldn't.
No, you know that I think that, yeah, people, it is right, you know, to do based on your taste. And also, yeah, it's what I discovered that in Rome, especially Americans, yeah, they did not really enjoy the traditional dishes.
Right. So actually, you would distinguish at lunch, right? For the lunch crowd, when you had a lot of Italians coming in, you would say, well, is this pasta for an Italian or for an American? And then cook the pasta is cooked more.
No, this is a thing, Jesse, and this makes me laugh because like the restaurants that I frequent a lot in Rome, once they get to know me after a while and they know that I'm not like a normal American, then they'll secretly say, do you want me to cook it for you the local way? Which I love, you know, like one of the restaurants I go to, she won't serve, the pasta, she always serves one kind of pasta if they're Americans, but if they're Italian, she serves a completely different pasta, which is hilarious. So, you know, you've made it as a fake Italian when they start serving you the Italian pastas.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, for the different kind of pasta, yeah, for the Italians, I remember we use, you know, you use the one that do not go overcooked.
Yeah.
You know, because yeah, Italians are not easy, you know, when they are going to the restaurants, you know, they are expecting to eat very, very good. So
what you putting in, are those olives? I can't see.
So here we have some olives from Greece. This one is the same from Croissant. Come si dice sopra testimone?
Yeah, your witness. This is from Risa, the family, our friends in the Peloponnese that we were chatting about before. And we were here chatting about the difference between our style of our expectations for Italian food. So just tell us what you put in here.
So yeah, I'm sorry. So we have here cucumber, a lot of cucumber. You can see here how green is. So cucumber, yogurt, salt, pepper, a little bit of oil, garlic, and vinegar, white vinegar. Yeah. So we just mixed, and it is ready and easy and good. Yeah, and yeah, that's it.
And it looks like the Spanako Pita is we're almost ready, but we wish, certainly, Sarah, we wish that you were here with us.
I know. I was just thinking the same thing. I can practically smell the Spanako Pita in your kitchen. So
you know, we have a lot of food here, and we can't enjoy really with anyone because now we got COVID. So.
Yeah, you guys are literally in the quarantine kitchen right now.
Yeah, we are literally, yeah.
Literally, actually, the quarantine kitchen. So, well, if you have to be quarantined, at least you have a beautiful new wife to be quarantined with, you lucky dog, and all this wonderful food that she can cook. So I feel like maybe I'm not going to feel sorry for you.
There's nothing to feel sorry for here.
Well, Jesse and Maria, this has been absolutely fantastic. I'm so impressed. And you're such a good, and I mean, really, I like watching you cook, Maria. You really are clear about instructions and you make it look really easy. So maybe tonight my kids will actually get some Greek food. I might have to go and make that tzatziki for them. So thank you so much for sharing with us.
Yeah, thank you. I'm sorry. It was my first. I am not, in front of a camera. This is is outside my comfort zone, so I'm sorry for that, but I really enjoyed here my first time showing to someone else how to do something in the kitchen. And I hope next time I can do much more better, and I hope I was clear enough. Otherwise, any questions are welcome.
And yeah, no, I think you did a wonderful job, Maria, and we definitely would love to have you back to do something else in the future. And I have to tell you, you don't know me, so I just have to let you know that I have a reputation of forcing people to do new things. This pandemic has basically been calling everybody I know saying, hey, will you cook for me? Hey, will you take a camera and go walk in your hometown? Like, it's been a crazy thing, but it's nice for everybody to push their boundaries a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Maria was chatting about this as we were thinking about travel the other day. The way that one of the nice things about travel is the experience of a first, right? That when you're a child, you're having them all over the place, but as we get older, we kind of have to seek them out in order to kind of just have that like experience of freshness in things. So, well, listen, thanks so much, Sarah. Grazie amore. Tomorrow we have. Yeah, thank you very much. Tomorrow we have, we'll be meeting with Vasiliki, and we'll be having a conversation about traditional Greek island life.
Fun.
And what time?
Right.
What time, Sarah? You said. Well, I think we might have to. I'll check in with Vasiliki, but I believe that
it needs to either be at 9 or 11 tomorrow. And then, and for those of you watching tomorrow at 10 o'clock, the reason we need to shift what time we do our Greece coverage tomorrow is that I'm going to have a really special guest, my friend Danielle O'Terry, talking about the Guide Collective Book Club selection this month, which is My Brilliant Friend by Elena Ferrante. So please do join us for that. And then it'll either be before or after that you can hang out with Jesse and I. So, all right, very good. Thanks so much. We'll see you again tomorrow. Grazie, Maria.
Bye.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao, ciao.